welcome back! So, it's our part 2 for the lesson in Module 2 about chemical bonding. On this video, the focus of our discussion would be on the periodic table, on the different parts of periodic table. So, this is our periodic table. We have a lot of versions of the periodic table at syempre meron ding history ng periodic table. Pero, huwag na natin balikan ang history kung paano tayo nag-come up sa pinaka-latest na periodic table. So, let us have this periodic table. So, the purpose of this lesson is to map the periodic table. Ima-map natin ang periodic table on its different parts. So, simulan natin sa kanyang vertical columns. When we say vertical column, ito yung column na pababa. Yan. Simula sa pinakataas hanggang sa pinakababa ang vertical column. In the vertical columns, tatandaan mo, ang tawag natin doon is the family or group. So, yung kanina na sinabi natin from the previous lesson of valence electron, para hindi ka na magdodrawing ng atom at hindi ka na rin gagawa ng electron configuration at para mas mabilis ang ating paraan na malaman ang valence electron, kung ano ang group number or family number ng element, yun din ang kanyang valence electron. So, ibig sabihin, ang mga linya pababa ng ating periodic table ay siyang family or group. Now, in the periodic table, meron tayong 1 to 8A and 1 to 8B. So, meron tayong dalawang grupo o family sa periodic table ng A at B. So, sa periodic table, ang lahat ng matatangkad na column ay siyang 1 to 8A. So, yun ang ating 1A, 2B, laktawan natin yung nakababa. Doon tayo ulit sa matangkad, that will be the 3A, the 4A, 5A, 6A, 7A, and 8A. So, those are the groups 1 to 8A. At ang lahat naman nakababa, sisimulan natin sa 3B para continuous yung number natin ng group. So, dahil 1A yung nasa taas, 2A yung nasa taas, pagbaba natin, simulan natin sa 3B. Pero the letter will be B. So, that's 3B, 4B, 5B, 6B, 7B, at pagdating sa 8B, tatlong column ang sakop ng 3B. Ng 8B. So, that would be 8B, 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 bracket. Sila yung tatlong 8B. And then, balik ka ulit sa number na 1. 1B, 2B, pagtaas, 3A. Para yung numbering natin ay contiguous. So, yun yung tinatawag natin na family or group sa periodic table. You just take note na ang family or group number ay nakabase sa vertical column. Pag sinabing vertical column, yung linya patayo o pababa. So, syempre, kung meron tayong vertical columns, meron ding horizontal columns. Ang horizontal columns naman ay yung mga column na nakapahiga. So, from left to right, so those are our horizontal columns. In the horizontal columns or in the periodic table, meron tayong 7. Na ang tawag natin sa horizontal columns ay period. So, that would be our period 1, which is hydrogen and helium lang, counted siya as the period number 1. Sila yung unang vertical column. And the next one would be the period number 2, period number 3, period 4, period 5, period 6, hanggang period 7. So, our periodic table is composed of 1 to 8A and 1 to 8B group or family and 7 periods. Ngayon, alam mo na ang dalawang parte ng periodic table na meron pala itong vertical columns at horizontal columns. Next thing na kailangan mong malaman sa periodic table ay ang tatlong klase ng elements. elements. So we have three kinds of elements, and those are the metals, nonmetals, and the metalloids. Now, in the periodic table, there is a certain location where you can find all the metals, all the nonmetals, and the metalloids. Okay, so let us locate where the metals are. Now, in the periodic table, all the metals are found on the left side of the periodic table. So, itong lahat ng left side from groups 1, 2, A, and all the group 1 to 8B are considered are all metals. So, lahat ng nasa side na yan ay metals. Pagdating sa right side, meron lang ilang metals na kasali na nandun sa kabilang part. And those are all included in the metals. So, in short, makikita mo ang metals on the left side of the periodic table, specifically this. So those are the metals in the periodic table. Except for hydrogen. Hydrogen is the only one non-metal that is found on the left side of the periodic table. Siya lang ang nag-iisang non-metal na makikita mo sa kabilang side. So mean to say, kung ito ang metals, sa kabilang side, on the right side, dun mo naman makikita ang lahat ng non-metals. So, non-metals are all the groups 7A and 8A, including the remaining elements. So, those are the non-metals of the periodic table. And may natira sa gitna na parang korteng hagdan. Yung korteng hagdan na yon ang nagsisimbolo ng hatian ng metal sa non-metal. So, yung hagdan na yon ang tinatawag nating mga elements na metalloids. When we say metalloids, there are half metal and half non-metal because both characteristic or properties of metal and non-metal are found on the following elements. Kaya hindi sila mai-consider as metal or non-metal kasi parehas ng katangian ay nasa kanila. So that's why we call them as the metalloids. And metalloids are found between the metal and the non-metal to separate their location. Okay, so it is very important that you know the location of the metals and the non-metals as well as the metalloids in the periodic table because it is a big advantage once that we perform the chemical bonding. Now, in chemical bonding, you may encounter two words. Those are electronegativity and ionization energy. So, electronegativity is the measure of the tendency of an atom to attract electrons. So, when we say electronegativity, the tendency is to attract o humila ng electrons. When we say humila ng electrons, nangyayari electronegativity para maging stable ang isang atom o ang isang element once they are performing chemical bonding. Gamitin natin yung example natin last time with the water. So, water as composed of H2O. So, balikan natin si valence electron. Hydrogen has a valence electron of 1 and oxygen has a valence electron of 6. Now, when we say electronegativity, it is the ability of an atom to attract electron. Alin ba dito sa dalawang may mas mataas ang tendency para mag-attract o humila ng electrons? Yun bang isa na kulang pa ng 7? O yun bang 6 na kulang na lang ng 2? So, syempre, mas madaling humigit o mag-attract ng electrons kung mas mataas na yung number mo at mas maunti naman ang kailangan mo. Sabihin, parang sa tao, pag naglaro tayo ng higitan, syempre, mas mananalo yung mas madami kesa sa maunti. mas madaling humigit yung madami kesa sa maunti. O for example naman, isang mataba at isang payat. Sinong mas madaling mahigit? Sinong mas madaling makahigit? Yung mataba o yung payat? Syempre, yung mas malaki. So, mean to say, in the word electronegativity, the ability to attract an electron would be on oxygen. Since dalawa na lang ang kulang niya to be stable, at ang stable ay 8, at kulang na lang siya ng 2, so mas madali para sa kanyang humigit. Meaning to say, mas malaki ang tendency ng electronegativity sa oxygen kesa sa hydrogen. Gumamit naman tayo ng ibang example ng compound or ng chemical bond. For example, meron tayong NaCl. So, NaCl is sodium chloride. It is composed of Na sodium and Cl chlorine. Na pinagsama, we call it sodium chloride. Take note or trivia, NaCl is also the table salt o asin na ginagamit natin sa bahay. So, ang ibig sabihin, ang chemical formula pala ng asin ay NaCl o sodium chloride. Ngayon, si Na ay matatagpuan natin sa group 1A. So, kung matatagpuan natin si Na sa group 1A, anong valence electron niya? So, the valence electron of sodium will be also 1. Then, si Cl naman, si chlorine, ay matatagpuan natin sa group 7A. So, kung nasa group 7A si chlorine, what would be the valence electron? So, 7 din. Ganun kadali, alamin ang valence electron kung familiar na tayo sa periodic table. Now, from the word electronegativity, which is ability to attract, alin sa dalawang atom ng sodium at chlorine ang may mas malaking electronegativity or ability to attract? Is it sodium with 1 valence electron or is it chlorine with 7 valence electron? So, syempre, the answer will be chlorine. Chlorine has more electronegativity than sodium because chlorine has already 7 valence electron and sodium has only 1 valence electron. So, ibig sabihin, mas malaki ang tendency to attract chlorine than sodium. Anong element ba si sodium? Since sodium is found on the left side of the periodic table, so anong klaseng element siya? Metal, non-metal, or metalloid? So, sodium is metal. How about chlorine? Anong klaseng element ba ang chlorine? Since chlorine is found on the right side of the periodic table on group 7, is it metal, non-metal, or metalloids? So, it is a non-metal. So, from this, anong element or what kind of element has a higher tendency to attract electrons? Is it the metal or the non-metal? Okay, so non-metals have higher electronegativity and metals has lower electron negativity. You always take note that metals have higher tendency to attract and metals has the lower tendency to attract electrons. Now, let's have ionization energy. When we say ionization energy, it is an energy to pull or remove one or more electrons. So, kung kanina ay para mag-attract o kumuha, ngayon naman is tendency to pull, remove, o magtanggal ng electrons. Okay, take note of this in the ionization energy. In the ionization energy, the lower ionization energy, it is easier to remove the valence electron. Pag mababa ang ionization energy, mas madaling tanggalin ang valence electron. At syempre, pag mataas ang ionization energy, mas mahirap tanggalin ang valence electron. Katulad ng sinabi natin kanina, sa electronegativity, ang mga metal ay maliit ang valence electron, mas madaling tanggalin ang electrons. While nonmetals na matataas ang valence electron, mahirap ding tanggalin ang electrons. Okay, so let me teach you a trick in periodic table, which is I also learned when I was a student. So, paano ba natin mai-locate ang isang element kung wala tayong periodic table? Anong group kaya niya? Ano kayang period niya? Saan kaya ang parte ng periodic table kung makikita yung ganitong element? So, paano kung ganun yung tanong? So, one way to locate an element in the periodic table is just to use its electron configuration. Since ang electron configuration ay magagawa mo naman kahit wala kang periodic table, basta meron kang atomic number, then it would help you to locate the element in the periodic table. Let's see. So let us use example S with atomic number of 16. S is for sulfur, sulfur 16. So let us make first the electron configuration of the element sulfur. So we have 1 S2, 2 S2, 2P6, 3 S2. So bilang ka muna. 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 6, 10, plus 2 is 12. To make 16, kulang pa tayo ng 4. So the next one will be 3P4. So kung hindi mo pa memoryado ang pagkakasunod-sunod ng electron configuration diagram, pwede mo namang gamitin yung drawing na itinuro ko dun sa lesson ng electron configuration natin na video. So ito yung ating electron configuration ng sulfur. 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 6, 10, plus 2 is 12, plus 4 is 16. So, tapos na natin gawin ang electron configuration ng sulfur. So, para malocate mo ang pwesto ni sulfur sa periodic table, gagamitin mo yung pinakahuling electron configuration, which is this one. Kailangan ba laging dalawa? Hindi naman. Kaya lang dalawang kinuha ko dahil parehas silang nasa energy level 3. Kung parehas ang energy level ng dulo, parehas mo silang gagamitin. Pero kung ganito naman ang dulo mo, dito ka lang magbabase sa dulong-dulo. Pero dahil parehas sila ng energy level, magkasama ko silang gagamitin para malaman ko ang pwesto ni sulfur. Paano? Lakihan ko to 3P4. Yung number natin dito na 3 is the period number. So, ibig sabihin, ang sulfur ay nasa ikatlong period. Ano nga ang period? Yung pahalang or pahiga or horizontal column. Yung from left to right. Ibig sabihin, nakahanay siya sa ikatlong period. Next. Para saan yung P? So, that is for the orbital. Pero hindi pa natin kino-cover si orbitals of S, P, D, and F. So, pwede ka naman magbase dito sa period number at yung 4 sa taas. Anong ibig sabihin ng force sa taas. So, yung force sa taas ang magsisilbing group number. So, meaning to say, matatagpuan mo ang sulfur sa ikatlong period sa ika-4 na group. Tingnan nga natin. Tama kaya yung gawa natin? Silipin natin ang periodic table. Asan dyan si sulfur? Eto si sulfur. At, tama bang nasa ikatlong period? 1, 2, 3. Tama. Confident ka na ba ngayon na mag-chemical bonding? Pwede ka na bang mag-perform ng chemical bonding kasi alam mo na ang iba't ibang parte ng periodic table? Of course. So, pwede na tayo ngayon mag-proceed with the chemical bonding. Pero, so for the next video on part 3 of our lesson on module 2, we will now discuss about the chemical bonding on how we do the bonding of chemicals. I'll see you again on my next video about chemical bonding. You stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe.